our job is to essentially act as a detective for physics. We use Newton's laws of motion in our work quite often. And so on the civil realm, we don't ever get to be on-scene investigators at the time of the collision, right? So we're getting everything post-collision. But once we get the case, we thoroughly inspect both vehicles, do crush analysis, download EDRs or the black box if available to us. We go to the scene, we map the scene, we measure absolutely everything that we can measure. Oftentimes in civilian collisions, some of that evidence is gone, but we work with what we're given, which is why I often say that the sooner we get a case, the better for the client. We measure crush damage, roadway friction, even weather conditions at the exact moment, right? There's 3 factors that come into every single collision: human, mechanical, and environmental. Those are the only 3 factors. And as we were talking earlier, I believe the latest statistic was 94% of all collisions have a human element, have a human factor to them. So it's not just, a vehicle that dissipates or blows a tire, things like that. But anyway, so we use physics, conservation of momentum and energy, and kind of work backwards to determine how fast each vehicle is going, the angles of impact, who had right of way given the scene of the collision, could braking, steering have prevented it, and sometimes in those cases where there's in-car cameras or dash cams, things of that nature, that really helps us. But absent that, it's old-fashioned boots on the ground. We call it the Weather Express. And in court, juries hear 2 different people tell 2 different sides of a story, right? My job is to let the evidence speak for itself and explain the evidence in a way that can be understood by a jury. You had asked about a case of conflicting stories, and I had a gentleman who was charged with murder in a collision. And this was one of the few criminal cases that we do. And we were able to determine and prove that it wasn't him that caused her death. It was a seatbelt mechanism that couldn't be unlocked. And so I would say for that gentleman, he has nothing but good things to say about an accident reconstruction, because it, essentially saved, the rest of his life. And so those are the really satisfying cases that we get to do. They're not always that heavy, so to speak, but each case that we take, I work from the standpoint of, what if that is my family member? What answers would I want? So that's, in a nutshell, very much what we do.